Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm doing a response video to Review Tech USA YouTube channel and his Rich's video on Blockbuster. This is a live stream, as you can see from the chat box, and so yeah, let's get started. So again, this is my response to Rich of Review Tech USA over his Blockbuster and GameStop commentary videos he has made. So I plan to go more in depth in some future videos, but for this video, I want to just do a plain response, just some kind of response basically. So first off, on the Blockbuster video, so Rich made a video about Blockbuster and how it'll make him / is disappointed, which makes sense, because he goes on talking about his memories and the nostalgia factor. So yeah, then it's definitely, definitely makes sense there. And yeah, I mean, if you watch the video, he goes a lot into depth about like how he, went down the weekends and stuff like that. So yeah, it was very much a part of his life for, a good while. So going back again with Blockbuster, this is because of the overall decline of the rental store market. And he isn't inaccurate in the sense that there are some general ideas that I'm sorry. He's not inaccurate in the sense of, from Blockbuster, the point of view of Blockbuster, like how there's, only one Blockbuster left. However, there are some general ideas that I found to be somewhat inaccurate and somewhat misleading. And that first starts off with saying there's more than just Blockbuster. Even when Blockbuster was at its height, there were other competing corporate chains like Family Video, which is still around, and there was Hollywood Video, which is no longer around. In addition to the chains, there was also, and there are still today, local independent video rental stores. I personally know of a few. I know one video rental store that operates on a subscription-based system. So like Netflix, you pay a monthly subscription fee to the video store, and you can rent out like a certain amount of movies per each rental, and there's no late fees and stuff like that. So you can go to the store physically and pick out the movies you want, or you can have them shipped to you. The store also operates with other services, like it's part of a whole thing, a whole company, and the store is just one of its services. But yes, that is part of the thing, is they offer a video rental store. And I also know of another video rental store that's mostly run by volunteers. It's mostly volunteer run, and I've been to that one, and it's actually a pretty cool experience. Got all the different shelves and all the different movies and all different categories and stuff like that, similar to the other one. But here's the thing, though. If you listen to Rich, you might get the impression or the idea that once Blockbuster fell, brick and mortar video renting fell too. But that's not true. It's a very generalized way of looking at things. It's a very generalized way of looking at the situation, as I just mentioned earlier with some of the video rental stores that I personally know of. And yeah, the way he presents it, it's almost like it's extinct, or it is extinct. Like when he's talking about video rental stores in his Blockbuster video, the way it comes off to me is he's talking about as if it's something that just doesn't simply exist anymore. Like there's nothing left, of physical video rental, and that's just not true. So when he mentions like, oh, kids these days won't be able to experience these things, that isn't 100% true. You could technically, if you have kids, or if you are a kid, you can technically go to a video rental store. They still exist. They're still out there. I find it a bit odd why he's presenting this view when it's not entirely true. Now, granted, maybe he's talking mainly about Blockbuster. And if that's the case there, then yes, that's true, because there's only one literal Blockbuster left at this point. However, why not mention other places? I know that's something I didn't understand from the video, is like he had the opportunity the whole time to mention other video rental stores, whether they're independent, like one independent store, or like a smaller chain or something like that, but he never gives any time to any of those kind of places. And because he doesn't give any time to any of those places, I don't really know what his said knowledge of those places are. Like, for all I know, he could not know they exist at all, or for all I know, he may know they exist, but he doesn't really give any airtime to them for some reason. But I don't know. I don't know because he hasn't said anything from any of the videos I've seen. Just the Blockbuster video he did. He just mentions Blockbuster over and over again. He doesn't mention any other of its competitors or any other video rental stores. So basically, though, it wasn't just Blockbuster. Like I said, that around its time it had competition. And again, I mentioned the local independent stores. I'm going to keep bringing up those independent stores because why not? Like I find there to be a certain charm. Like he talks about, there's like a charm, or there's a feeling he had when he went to a Blockbuster as a kid. Well, I find there to be a very nice charm or a nice feeling with these independent stores as well, that I personally think cannot be replicated, or it's very hard to be replicated in a corporate chain of stores. There's something about a local independent store, mom and pop or non mom and pop stores that are just, there's just something about those kind of places too, that they got their own unique little charm to them as well. It would have been cool to if you had mentioned these little indie places, which in some ways I find more appealing than the corporate chains, as I mentioned. And I mentioned my reasons why. Now, I don't know where you live. You mentioned earlier that you moved to upstate New York when you were a kid, but I mean that's when you were a kid, so I don't know where you could be right now. I don't know if you happen to still live around that area, but if you do, there's always New York City. New York City has video rental stores. I know because I Googled it before I made this video. I Googled video rental stores in New York City. Those exact words, video rental stores in New York City. And a few places popped up offering physical video rentals and stuff like that. So, even in your own state, even in the state that you once lived in or you currently live in, there's a chance that there might be a video rental store around somewhere. So there's one, and here's another thing too. There's one place that it seems like 99% of people, I just made that up, but it's just a lot of people basically seem to forget this. And that is that you can rent movies from a library. Yep, you can rent movies from your local public library. Now, granted, not all public libraries have DVD movie rentals, but I would argue that a lot of them do. I would argue that a lot of local libraries have video rentals, so you can go to the local library and rent DVDs from there. And those are free as long as you return them on time. Those are free technically, and it's a good way to support your local library. I mean, I'm all about supporting the local library, So, I mean, if you're not a big fan of reading or you don't really feel you have a lot of time to read, I mean, there's another great way to support your local library. I mean, some libraries offer music. They offer CDs, that you can rent as well. Some libraries even offer video game rentals now. So, some libraries have some really cool resources, and if you haven't been to a library in a while, you should consider just going and checking it out, because you don't know what you might find. It might be a little fun day for you to do that. We seem to forget, but it's mainly libraries that have DVDs. There's also a streaming service, an online streaming service called Hoopla, where you can enter your library ID to stream whatever is offered on the Hoopla website. So whatever Hoopla is streaming, you can enter in your library information, and you can get access to their library of content as well. So, let's see here. So I want to bring up a perception I got from this video. I may have mentioned it, but I'm going to say it again if I have. Again, this idea that it's Blockbuster or nothing. This black and white view of the world. I gotta ask, has corporate America really influenced us so much to the point that some people seem to forget um, that once some people I'm sorry that some people seem to think that once a corporate chain goes under, um, corporate chain goes under, that you can no longer be provided what you can only be provided what they offer. It's the same with Toys R Us. Once that went under, and a side note about that, they might be coming back in some form in America. I know they're still in Canada, but yes. Um, the point being, no, that we forget about the other places that once sold toys or that still sell toys. There are I've come across little local toy stores. It's not just Toys R Us that was selling toys. There was local independent stores that sell toys. And they're still around. I came across one that actually you can go to and give them your toys, and they'll pay you money for it. I don't know how great the money is, but they'll pay you like as if GameStop, kind of like where you return your movies, your games, and stuff like that. So again, same with GameStop. Rich seems to suggest that once GameStop goes under, or if it goes under, which according to him it seems more and more likely that it will, that in the end, I'm sorry, that once it goes under, that will be the end of it. There will be no more. There'll be no more There will be no more places to buy physical video games with and stuff like that. But what he forgets to mention is that there are smaller video game stores as well. There's smaller chains that sell video games that are not GameStop, and there are also independent video game stores that sell all types of video games, from very newer ones to very classic retro games. They have a whole selection of libraries. I've been to one, and I've been to an independent video game store that sold everything. I even found all these older retro video games from like the NES. I found that robot thing that the Angry Video Game Nerd did a review of from his YouTube channel. And actually, that's actually like when I went to that store, I knew about all these video games because of the AVGN guy, AVGN. So yeah, the point is that there's other alternatives so far. So I made this mostly about Blockbuster for this video, but I feel like a lot of these comments that I made can be applied to his GameStop videos too. And sure, he mentions how you really can't experience Blockbuster anymore, which is true, but the concept itself, the actual concept of renting physical movies, that's still around. That's still a thing. You can still go and rent movies from physical stores. Also, something I've noticed with the Blockbuster video and the GameStop video is how sometimes he makes these big predictions about how brick and mortar is all going away. But I'm not as sure in that belief as Rich is. I still think there is a demand for brick and mortar. And I think there will be for a long time. Because people have different tastes and preferences. There's people who like to go to physical retail for various reasons, or various types of physical retail. And I'd argue that includes some of the younger people. Like, I'm sure there's there's this perception that younger people just shop online, and only like to shop online. But I don't think that's entirely true. I mean, like, where's the evidence for that? Like, I'm sure that's true to a certain extent, but to just like assume that just no one younger people just like to shop online. They don't like to shop in person or something like that. It's just, I just find it to be a generalization, basically, just a generalization that's not completely accurate, and there's not really there's not solid evidence to prove it 100% accurate, in my opinion. I mean, because younger people still go to retail stores. They may still visit them. I mean, retail stores are still a thing, people. So, yeah. Okay, so physical movie and video game rentals. Wait, sorry, hold on. Okay, sorry, I actually forgot there's one part down here. My bad. So, no, I don't agree with everything being online. Am I saying it isn't possible that could happen in the future? No, I am not. I just don't feel it's going to happen anytime soon. I also wish people would shake off this idea that if a company like Blockbuster dies out, it means that their service that they offer also goes away. It just doesn't. Again, I mentioned the independent stores. I mentioned smaller chains. I mentioned public libraries. You can rent stuff at the libraries. And look, I'm not saying that these other things will not 100% replace your experiences. You got to go into Blockbuster, Rich. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's other options for physical renting out there. So yeah, I'm not saying these other video rental stores that are still out there are going to fully, satisfy the experiences you had going to Blockbuster. As far as I know, they never can, and those days are gone. And that sucks. I feel that's I think that does suck. Like there are certain there's things we like and we enjoy a lot, and many people hold it very dear to their hearts. However, things just change over time. Some things just change, and you just can't fully replicate it. That's why I wish we try and appreciate things in the now, because we don't fully know when things will change. We just don't. And it's hard to do that when you're in the now, because you kind of fool yourself into thinking like it's always going to be there for some reason, even though I don't know. It's just that's probably a topic for another video. But also, Rich, of Review Tech USA, another suggestion of mine is if you don't have a video rental store in your town, have you considered starting your own indie store? That might be something you might want to consider doing. Why not? I mean, you do YouTube full time right now. Perhaps you can, start a video rental store on the side, and maybe at first you have like one employee or two employees, or maybe you all start out as volunteers or something like that. Like the store I know of. And it doesn't have to be just like we offer video rentals, for you to rent from. You can also offer like other services. Maybe like you can have a screening room or something like that, or you can have other services basically. So I don't know, just something for you to consider there, Rich. I don't actually fully expect you to start up a video rental store, but yeah, I just thought it'd be a little fun suggestion to bring up there. So yeah, that concludes this video. I plan to make other videos about the GameStop videos, and possibly another one on Blockbuster from Review Tech USA. But yeah, so that concludes this video for right now. So thank you all for watching. And before I go, let me respond to this one comment, and that just says hi. So hello to you as well, sir. And yeah, that's it. So that being said, thank you for watching, and have a great one. And thank you later to you as well. Bye-bye, everyone.